Hey there everyone, and welcome back to the channel. After a long off-season, we are finally back to racing. This is race number 1 of the NMA Hare Scramble series at Horn Rapids. Just like that, it looks like we already have a pileup. As we're going through the whoops there, I just want to point out that the track was much better this year. Last year, some of those whoops were like 3-4 feet high. I mean, they were brutal, especially if you're going slow like me, where you can't just hop over the top of them. But this year, it was a much smoother, faster track. The turns weren't swallowing bikes from all the sand. I mean, this was a great time out there at Horn Rapids. Quick little thing about the bike, you guys may remember from last year at the Rimrock race that I upgraded my bike. So most of last year I was racing on a Honda CRF 250F, which is like a trail bike. But this year I have a Honda CRF 250RX, which is kind of like Honda's factory Hare Scramble bike. It's basically their motocross bike with an 18-inch rear wheel and a bigger gas tank. But so far I absolutely love this bike. In the audio there that it is super windy out here on this race day. There were high wind advisories, and I think there were insanely high gusts. I was kind of wanting to see how the pro riders jump the jumps, because I hear you can get blown off the track if you jump too high. It was blowing the sand in our face, and kind of you come around a corner and hit the wind in another direction, and it kind of push you on the bike. It was kind of cool to have wind that high and be riding in it. Bit of a trend, something I need to work on. You can hear the bikes just revved out, and I need to go to the next gear, but because I'm standing up now a lot more, I'm not shifting as much as I used to. So I need to find a way to shift and practice shifting while I'm standing. I'm not comfortable with that yet, but I definitely need to get the gears higher for how fast I'm going these days. on the right, the guy with the orange KTM and the brown Camelback, that's my friend. He came to the race with me, and it's pretty awesome. This is his first race ever. He's been riding for like 10 hours, and it's crazy. He only finished like 2.5 minutes behind me in the overall hour-and-a-half race, and that's really amazing. I'm super proud of him. He said he had a great time. And if you watch right here as we go onto the motocross track, we have a little bit of a battle because he knows I passed him, and I know I passed him, so he's trying to keep up, and we're having a little bit of a battle. It was a great time. I think it's pretty easy to tell he's a lot more comfortable in the turns than I am. I think I still have a little bit of, I don't know, PTSD or whatever from last year where I kept falling in the corners, where I just lay the bike down in the sand. But he's like really ripping it through the corners. I feel like I got him on the straights though, and I don't think it's just he's on a 125 and I'm on a 250. I think I'm just a little more comfortable with what race speed is for me. He's not been in a race before, so I think he's going a little slower. I think once he picks up the speed in the straights, he's really going to be tough to beat. I was in the wrong gear. That's going pretty quick for me through there. I was recording my laps on my watch, and it said compared to last year, I was about 2.5 miles an hour faster than last year, which I think is pretty good. That's frustrating to watch. I really need to learn to shift while I'm standing. Obviously, at this point, all I'm thinking about is getting around my friend here on the KTM. It's a lot of fun to have friends out there racing, especially when they're about as fast as you and you can actually compete against each other. It's so much fun. sand drag here, and my watch says at some point during the race on the sand drag I hit about 56 miles an hour, which might be as fast as I've gone on a dirt bike on dirt, so that's pretty awesome. I feel like I'm really moving here. Now at the end of the sand drag, you make this hard right turn and you transition onto the motocross track. Now I thought for sure that I had left my friend in the dust, literally, but he shows up here. I was really shocked. He must have been hanging with me that whole time, even though I thought I was going super fast on these straights. He was right there behind me. Got a pretty gnarly crash coming up here. His rider's going to go for big air and then crash, and then another rider's going to hit him on their landing. And here comes my friend passing me and showing me up. I'm going to get some big air off these jumps himself. So that's the end of the motocross track. I was kind of going slow because they had the yellow flag out, and I thought that we weren't supposed to jump at all when the yellow was out. But also I was kind of hesitant to jump because I didn't think I was ready for that yet. In retrospect, I really wish I had been going faster and doing a little bit of jumping. We have a race here on the 16th, and I'm for sure going to make sure I get some air off those motocross jumps.
Nice jump, bro!
This is the official end of the lap. So we did kind of a half a lap before lap 1. I don't really know how you call it, lap 0. I don't know, whatever it is. But the rest of the video will take us all the way around back to that point. Some of it will be a repeat from where we started on the sand drag, and some of it, like from here to the sand drag, will be new track. Tell you what, if I ever find fourth gear, I'm going to be pretty quick. probably the hardest obstacle of the whole race. It's a really, really abrupt and steep little hill, and it's straight down on the backside. I almost went over the bars. Also on the left here, that big hill, we went over it last year. I think they called it Photographer Hill or something like that. I was kind of disappointed we didn't do it this year. I had talked it up pretty big. Overall, I was super happy with my performance on the sand whoops. I know they were smaller this year, but I felt like I was definitely getting the bike over them a lot better than I did last year at my first race here. I can't remember, maybe I should go back and watch my old video, but I feel like I'm with the pack a lot more this year than I was in my first year. So I think that extra 2.5 miles an hour on average is just keeping me up there with more people, and that's a lot more exciting. I said last year that I race the best when I have someone in front of me that I can chase. And I feel like during this entire race, there was always someone in front of me that I could chase. remembered this from last year, and I remember by the time I got done with this straightaway, my arms were jelly. They were dead tired, and a lot of that's because the whoops were so much bigger and I was going so much slower. And going through whoops slow, you're just beating yourself to death. You really need to pick up the speed and push through them and kind of bounce off the top of them. And I know I'm not there yet, but with the smaller whoops and the little bit of speed that I did gain, it made it a lot more tolerable for me this year. I really felt like I was doing some good stuff out on the bike this year. At this point, you gotta wonder, is the motorcycle missing gears or something? Like, why am I not shifting? Come up here onto some asphalt, and I thought that'd be a good place to do some passing because it seemed like people were going a little too slow, and I almost overshot the turn at the end because I overestimated how much braking power dirt bikes have on street. That straightaway is the end of the first full lap. You go through the fence here and it puts you back onto the track at the end of the sand drag and that first left turn we made to start the race. So everything beyond this point is a repeat of the first lap. A quick recap of the standings. I finished 15th out of 19. That puts me in the 36th percentile, I think it is. Last year I finished in the 11th percentile, so in my opinion that's a huge improvement. I was feeling more confident on the bike. I feel like I was going faster. My watch tells me I had a 2.5 mile an hour average faster than last year, so I think overall I did much better than last year. I'd like to say that I got a bunch of NMA points for this race. I said last year that I was going to sign up for the series points. Well, I got kind of lazy and didn't sign up in time, so I missed out on the points for this race. This is going to have to be my throwaway because I signed up after the race, so everything from this point forward will count towards series points. You get 2 throwaways during the season. The next race is in 2 weeks at Eddieville. I think I've got 4 more races this month in March, so there's going to be a lot of content coming up. I do have one track day with a car. It's going to be pretty interesting if you guys are into the car stuff. I really recommend you stay tuned because that's going to be pretty exciting. I think you guys are going to really like it. But anywho, if you stayed this long, thanks for tuning in, and I really hope to see you in the next video.